This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Stage 1 of Dunedin Public Hospital's new intensive care unit is set to be opened on Monday. An exhibition in Dunedin on Sunday is set to provide what organisers say will be a different way to mark Armistice Day. And Queenstown Primary School pupils have enjoyed a bicycle ride with a skeleton and got up close and personal with mock faeces at the Science Roadshow this week. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. When Dunedin Hospital's new $14.8 million intensive care unit opens next week, it will be the small things which will have some of the biggest impacts. Stage 1 of the 12-bed facility is set to be opened on Monday, while Stage 2 is expected to open mid-next year.
Staff at Dunedin Hospital's intensive care unit ready for action, whether it comes from the skies or the ground. Dunedin Hospital's set to open a new intensive care unit next week, costing almost $15 million. The ICU's charge nurse manager Shane Wiley says team members are looking forward to the new multi-million-dollar facility being opened.
Yeah, we have to move into stage 1. All our focus really is from the clinical side is getting ourselves into stage 1 and set up correctly. And when we're out of that space, we can hand over to the builders and they can start the second stage. Dunedin
Public Hospital is the primary facility for the whole southern region, and the upgrade dovetails well with the recently expanded helicopter service.
The team's usually is on site 24/7, so we activate the team. We call the helicopter HENS New Zealand. They are always on call for us and have never been in a situation where they couldn't provide a helicopter for us. So they're at the end of the phone, they respond straight away, and usually they're on the roof within 10 to 15 minutes from us getting the phone call, and then we fly away to wherever we need to go, really. But we do about 350 retrievals a year.
He says while the new ICU is filled with state-of-the-art technology, it's also focused on patient and staff comfort.
Yeah, the old unit was small, cramped, noisy. This unit is, as people can see, sort of light, breezy. There's natural light coming in, there's more spaces, there's more privacy. Staff have been involved in every aspect of the design, and Wiley says they deserve the best facilities as they literally save lives. Look, I can't speak highly enough of our staff. Our staff are just the most amazing bunch of people I've ever worked with, and I think they just deliver an exceptional care to our patients in our ICU because they're getting a working space which is fit for purpose. It's got all the right gear in it, it's got hoists for every patient. It really is light years ahead of where we currently are working out of. The public can view the new unit during an open day from 10 a.m. tomorrow. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Rainfall is easing in Otago, but some roads remain closed in the south this afternoon as heavy weather continues to lash the country. Snow has been falling on the Crown Range Road, and while it is open, warnings were issued by police after a spate of crashes yesterday. The wild weather hammered the west coast, sweeping a bridge away and trapping dozens of Dunedin High School pupils in a tramping hut. The Otago Regional Council says rainfall is easing across the region, but warns some rivers are still on the rise following rainfall yesterday and overnight. Meanwhile, snow has fallen in the central Otago town of Naseby. The New Zealand Transport Agency says the weather has caused multiple rockfalls and surface flooding throughout Otago. Meanwhile, in Alexandra, the Manahira-Kio River is in flood with logs and debris being swept downstream. What at first appeared to be a helicopter rescue of a kayaker turned out to be the Otago Regional Council, measuring river flow through a process called heli gouging. Dropping a sealed watertight kayak and measuring device into the river, a helicopter assisted the ORC with their measurements, flow data while the river is in flood. The high water carried large logs and other pieces of driftwood down the river, but that didn't deter jet boaters from making their way upstream through the flooded waters. The ORC has issued a flood warning for several rivers around the region. A man has smashed a windscreen and punched another man until he collapsed, before driving off in a road rage incident in the Dunedin suburb of Wakari this afternoon. Police say they received a report just before 4 about the serious assault on Taieri Road. They say the victim was repeatedly assaulted but was conscious and able to speak. It appears the offender had cut off the victim, leading to an altercation. Witnesses say they saw a man get out of a vehicle and smash the man's front windscreen, then repeatedly hit him inside before leaving the scene. The victim collapsed on the road after leaving the car following the assault. An exhibition in Dunedin on Sunday is set to provide what organisers say will be a different way to mark Armistice Day. It features the works of sculptor Stephen Mulqueen, who died in June.
A poignant message ahead of Armistice Day commemorations this weekend. It's part of an exhibition of the work of the late Stephen Mulqueen.
We felt when he died several months ago that he would have done something on Armistice Day.
Mulqueen died in Dunedin back in June. A renowned sculptor, he began crafting brass poppies back in 2002, made from .303 cartridges found on battlefields, including Flanders.
And he felt that 100 years on, there really needs to be another way of expressing what that was about in reflection, more so than what was done at the time, which was the memorial of it. He was interested in the more emotive side of it.
That became his artistic focus for the last years of his life.
And his body of work that he made around it, which is probably the most significant body of work made by any artist in the country that I know of, really became his total focus for the last 4 years.
The exhibition is housed at the new Athenaeum Theatre in the Octagon and fittingly opens at 11 a.m. on Sunday in Dunedin, the South Today.
Primary teachers in the South are set to strike next week as part of rolling regional strikes. It follows the rejection of the latest government pay offer worth $700 million over 3 years. The New Zealand Educational Institute says facilitation under the Employment Relations Authority ended yesterday. The strike meetings will consider new offers from the Ministry and recommendations from the facilitator. Teachers in Otago and the rest of the South Island, except Christchurch, will strike on Thursday. Queenstown Primary School pupils have enjoyed a bicycle ride with a skeleton and got up close and personal with mock faeces at the Science Roadshow this week. The school hosted the event to give the youngsters an interactive lesson in all things science as part of the Roadshow's 120-stop tour of New Zealand.
With live shows and more than 70 exhibits, the Science Roadshow is engaging pupils at hundreds of schools around New Zealand.
That is 66 kilos of human poop.
It's arrived in Queenstown this week, giving students interactive lessons in all things science.
Now, the Roadshow's been in operation since 1988, so we're celebrating our 30th year, rather quietly, but with huge numbers of students coming through. We'll have over 47,000 students from nearly 600 schools during the course of this year.
The Roadshow teaches students about a range of topics, including astronomy, ecology and sound and movement. Kennedy says the event's focused on giving them early opportunities to connect with science and technology.
It's based around the idea of curiosity and inquisitiveness and giving kids the opportunity to move around the exhibits and explore for themselves. Now, that exploration causes them to pause, think, ponder about things that they may not have seen or thought about.
The Roadshow utilises apps and technology to create an interactive platform for children to learn. There's also 2 live shows with lifelike props being used for both comic and educational effect. The event's organised by the National Science Technology Roadshow Trust in Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, the Otago coast at Moerahi gets a makeover in time for the yellow-eyed penguin breeding season, and a very special guest will make an appearance at Lake Hawia's Armistice Day celebrations.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
It's always really satisfying when a customer comes back after doing a purchase of outdoor furniture and knowing that we've got it done right.
Spring is here and it's time to get in the garden. Ready Lawn will take care of your lawn needs, making lawn care a snap. They will install the perfect lawn while you plant your favourite flowers and vegetables. Call Ready Lawn today so you can enjoy the coming season.
It's that time of year. It's time to get into the garden and it's time to get your weed eater. Down here at the Power Garden Department at Andersons Bay Road, this year it's all about the cordless weed eater. Come down and see us at Mitre 10 Mega and we'll help you get it done right.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Petrol prices getting you down? Keep the smile on your dial with an e-bike grin from Electrify NZ on Cumberland Street. For an average $2,000 savings per year, why wouldn't you? Book a test ride today.
Get on down to Alex Campbell Menswear for the November shirt sale. That's buy one shirt, get one free. You heard right. Buy one shirt, get one free to the same or lesser value. That's the November shirt sale only on at
Alex Campbell Menswear. It fits.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Welcome back. Police failed to locate a rogue inner city penguin after a search in Dunedin yesterday. A police spokeswoman says they received a call around 1:30 in the morning after the animal was spotted in Market Reserve near the Oval. A unit was dispatched but unable to locate the bird. She says it was likely a little blue penguin. Police were unable to provide information on who called in the incident. The penguin remains at large. Meanwhile, a yellow-eyed penguin nesting area along the Otago coast at Moeraki has received a makeover in preparation for this year's breeding season. A Penguin Place staff member plus volunteers were out this week checking on the nesting boxes created for the endangered species. The area has been planted with native shrubs and trees in a bid to create a more natural environment for the nesting penguins. In order to combat the mosquito-borne avian malaria, which killed 14 birds at Moeraki last year, 4 nearby dams have been breached. 4 ponds have also been treated with a biological control to fight the mosquitoes. Sheep are being used to keep the grass down, as long grass is thought to allow predators more chance of harming penguins and their chicks. Lake Hawea's Armistice Day celebrations on Sunday will include a very special guest. The National Transport and Toy Museum have been busy this week making sure their 100-year-old ambulance is ready to take part in the parade. While there were more than 1,500 Rover Sunbeam ambulances built, this is the only one known to still exist.
The final maintenance on a 100-year-old vehicle before it goes out on the road on Sunday. This Rover Sunbeam ambulance was built during World War I, and many an injured New Zealand soldier was transported in one exactly like this.
They would be stretchered off the fields to their first triage, and then from that they'd be loaded into this and taken more to the hospital bases that they would have set up and things like that.
While over 1,500 were built, this is the only one remaining in existence. The Wanaka-based museum is pleased to own something this rare, but it's very hard to know how to repair or maintain it.
We have been combing everywhere to try and get information, manuals, things like that, and we've yet to find anything of it. So everything's more or less been learned on the job.
Being the only one of its kind, the Transport Museum only takes it out for special occasions. The last time was in Wanaka in 2015.
We don't take it out willingly, it's just for special occasions, and so that's what we try and do, is just run it, every couple of years to make sure everything's up to snuff.
He says the museum is providing the historic ambulance, plus other items, to help add a bit more life to the Lake Hawea celebrations.
Give a bit of a drive down part of the main street of hardware and things, and it'll be on display during the day because we've got other items that will be taken out as well.
The century-old ambulance will be part of the Lake Hawea Armistice Day parade on Sunday morning. In Wanaka, for the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, a veteran former Otago spinner is recalled into the Black Caps Test squad to play Pakistan. And we have the weekend's weather for you, so stay with us.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garrador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garrador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Active Interior Design in Mornington are the curtain and blind experts. The team can even advise you on outdoor products and will ensure that everything is perfect. For interior design with flair, call Active to book your free in-home consultation or call into the showroom in Mornington.
Get on down to Alex Campbell Menswear for the November shirt sale. That's buy one shirt, get one free. You heard right. Buy one shirt, get one free to the same or lesser value. That's the November shirt sale only on at
Alex Campbell Menswear. It fits.
Hello, it's Jeremy down here at Mighty 10 Mega in Andersons Bay. We've got 35 different lawnmowers down in our power garden department. We've got ride-on mowers, petrol mowers, battery operated mowers, push mowers. Did you know we've even got a robot, a little robot lawnmower that pops out during the day when you're at work or play. It'll pop out and mow your lawn. So come down and see me, Jeremy, down in the power garden department at Mighty 10 Mega in Andersons Bay Road, where we'll help you get it done right first time.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Petrol prices getting you down? Keep the smile on your dial with an e-bike grin from Electrify NZ on Cumberland Street. For an average $2,000 savings per year, why wouldn't you? Book a test ride today.
I just like it. It's something that you can see the fruits of your own labour. You put it right now, you don't have as much to do at Christmas. You come see me, Derek, in the garden department, and then we get it done right.
Thanks for staying with us. The Black Caps have sprung a major surprise, calling veteran former Otago spinner Will Somerville into their test squad to play Pakistan later this month. Somerville played 4 first-class games for Otago between 2004 and 2008. The Wellington-born 34-year-old has returned to New Zealand after a decade in Australia, playing grade cricket in Sydney before being picked for New South Wales. He's currently playing for Auckland and will join Ish Sodhi and Ajaz Patel as the third spinner in the test squad following an injury to Todd Astle. This Sunday marks exactly 100 years since the signing of the armistice put an end to the First World War. The Germans surrendered to the Allies on the 11th of November 1918 after 4 years of fighting. To commemorate the occasion, the Otago Daily Times will have an extensive coverage both in tomorrow's paper and online, including a short documentary featuring 3 of Dunedin's most renowned historians.
Yeah, I'm just talking about how people in Dunedin reacted spontaneously to the news that came by telegram from Wellington that the armistice had been signed.
And, you know, the pictures of those massive gatherings in the Octagon, you do see a lot of joy in the face. And, you know, you could see why that might be more the case at home, because they hadn't had to face the physical misery of life in the trenches and the deprivations of the soldiers in the field, you know.
There's a key part of the hopefully celebrations missing, and that is the soldiers themselves. And we mustn't forget that 1,831 at least guys from Dunedin didn't make it back. And that's an extraordinary number for a city, what, 65,000 people at the time about.
So we don't know who the great leaders of the mid-20th century would have been, and the direction they might have taken. Every country could have been quite different, but we lost them, and we don't know now what would have happened with their contribution.
Remember, the other real special problem we had was the lack of bodies. So you're going to grieve, you've got to have a body. And this is why there's so many memorials in New Zealand and Australia, because 80+% in each case are buried somewhere overseas.
After the war, immediately after the war in 1923, in fact, the first party of rich New Zealanders went to the battlefields to see the graves of their loved ones. But they're only the people who could afford that, you know, and there weren't many. They just couldn't afford, you know, the average New Zealander couldn't afford to do it. And so that's why people in New Zealand contributed to these war memorials. They weren't built with public funds generally, or certainly not central government funds, some local government funds, but generally it was donation that led to all these memorials being built.
And you can find out more about the armistice in tomorrow's ODT, plus online for the full version of the documentary. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Stage 1 of Dunedin Public Hospital's new $15 million intensive care unit is set to be opened on Monday. An exhibition in Dunedin on Sunday is set to provide what organisers say will be a different way to mark Armistice Day. And Queenstown Primary School pupils have enjoyed a bicycle ride with a skeleton and got up close and personal with mock feces at the Science Roadshow this week. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Phil Somerville. What have you got for us in tomorrow's paper?
It doesn't take too many brains to work out there's quite a bit of armistice stuff among everything else. This is the climax of 4.5 years of war, and there are interesting features. The mix has got a big feature on looking forward to talking about peace and looking at the situation today in comparisons with World War I. There's an editorial looking at the lessons we may or may not have learned from the Great War. There's an interesting, one of our reporters has done an interesting feature and gone to the plaques down in this building at the front, the men who died from the Evening Star and the Otago Daily Times, quite a few like everywhere else, and looked at who they were and what happened to them. Because as we know, there's nearly 4,000 people from Otago and Southland were soldiers were killed in the First World War. There also will be lots of coverage in Monday's paper, all around Otago and Southland. There's lots of big stuff happening in Alexandra and Central Otago and Bluff there too. another place where it's being commemorated in a very big way, and of course in Dunedin and Mosgiel and you name it. I'm also looking forward to going online and having a look at the documentary with those 3 distinguished historians, because they'll have some interesting things to say.
I'm sure they will. It's really important that we remember.
Yes, and this is it. I mean, things will quieten off now, and we'll move on, as we should too, but it's worth remembering what happened and what a disaster it all was.
And people who sacrificed their lives so that we can live like we do.
Now, other news, the waterfront project, it seems there's some news on that front. Things might be happening much faster than we thought, so that's
exciting.
Interesting. Up to Wanaka, the Otago Regional Council is planning to prosecute re-sediment, what it says is contamination going into the Clutha River from subdivision up there. And we've got more on the more about Will Somerville, the former Otago off-spinner, and his background and his thoughts on various things. And teacher strikes, of course, the primary one's going ahead here next Thursday, and secondary teachers looking very likely to go ahead also with their strikes. Look for everything else in the mix as well.
Wonderful. So something for everyone in this weekend's ODT. And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Looking at the situation, a fine weekend ahead for most parts with plenty of sunshine and milder temperatures, but the exception will be the Otago coast where cloud and cool winds will linger. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect clouds and a high of 16 degrees with winds from the south. Across to the northeast, Nelson is cloudy with a high of 15 degrees and Blenheim is overcast with a high of 14. And to Canterbury, a cloudy day for Kaikoura with a high of 13. Christchurch is also due to be cloudy and 13. And Ashburton, get out your raincoats as it will be rainy and also 13. Looking at the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Gore and Lumsden are in for light westerlies, fine weather and 14 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes area, expect light winds, some cloud, looking at highs of 13 for all centres, Wanaka, Alexandra, Queenstown and Te Anau. And looking at the northern towns, expect afternoon northeasterlies and clouds for Timaru and Oamaru with highs of 12 to 13 degrees, while Amarama and Twizel will have light winds, some cloud and reach a high of 13 degrees. And in Dunedin, cloudy tonight with light winds with an overnight low of 7. A few light showers possible at times tomorrow, but mostly dry with a mix of sunny periods and some cloud, light winds. Bring out the winter coats though, as it will still be cold with a high of 11 and a low of 6. Fine on Sunday with milder temperatures, long sunny periods and moderate northeasterlies, looking at a high of 14 and a low of 6 degrees. And in Invercargill, mostly fine tonight with an overnight low of 5. Sunny periods and scattered cloud tomorrow with moderate westerlies and pleasant temperatures, a high of 14 and a low of 6. Fine with cloud increasing on Sunday and milder northwesterlies developing. Expect some rain at night, looking at a high of 16 degrees and a low of 9. And that wraps up our news for this Friday. For the latest news from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, channel39.co.nz and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.